Welcome to my Backrooms review. This review will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, you've been warned. Getting straight into it, I want to go into a few critiques I do have of the movie, with the first one being I thought the movie could have been a bit longer, could have benefited from displaying a bit more of Clark's descent into madness, maybe a scene showing what happened between him and Kate when he ended up finding her, and how his first interaction went when he met his still life. I feel like that scene could have been pretty disturbing, could have played more into the horror vibes of the movie, maybe even having Clark play a role in Kate's death. I feel like that could have built up his character arc a bit more, and I feel like it's also subtly hinted at in the movie itself. But on to the next one. My second critique is coming from the dinner scene, which is honestly one of my favorite scenes in the movie. My only issue with this scene is I feel like Clark's dialogue could have benefited from feeling like less of an exposition dump and more of an incoherent rant. I just personally would have preferred if the scene would have focused a bit more on Clark's mental state and would have given us an explanation of the backrooms in a more subtle and organic manner. But anyways, that's all for the negatives. Now it's time to get into the things that I did like about the movie, and there's a lot to be said there. First things first, I want to talk about the aesthetics. Visually, this movie was just amazing. No words. I think everybody can pretty much agree on that aspect at least. I feel like they perfectly captured the vibe of the YouTube series for a cinematic experience, especially with the found footage sequences near the beginning of the movie. That Christmas tree scene will be living in my head rent-free for the next few months. I know a lot of people have been pretty critical of the designs of the still life, but in all honesty, I love them. The first two especially, they have this Lynchian vibe reminding me of some of the entities we would get inside of Twin Peaks. Clark's still life is definitely a bit more cartoonishly disturbing, and I know a lot of people don't fuck with it, but I definitely do. I feel like it plays into his insecurities and how he feels that other people might see him. Although I do think his still life would have benefited from having his face shown just a bit less and having his head kind of out of frames. So whenever we do see his head, it feels like a bit more intense, like when he goes down to bite Clark, or in other scenes where he's reaching out to Mary inside of the wall. I just feel like they could have played a bit more into the less is more mentality. You know, the less you see of something, the more disturbing it can be. That's just me. That's what I would have done at least, but I still think it was good. Acting wise, I feel like everybody pretty much undeniably gave it a great performance. I wish we would have seen more from Mark Duplass, and despite my critiques of the dinner scene, I do think that is one of the better scenes of the movie, in particular because of the acting. The execution of the dialogue was still great, even if I don't think the dialogue was that great. But yeah. Plot-wise, I really do like the psychological horror approach and letting it be a more character-driven story in comparison to the YouTube series that's more focused on world building and lore. It really does just allow the movie to offer a unique experience even to the people that have seen the YouTube series, and letting us vibe with these characters throughout the movie and how their character arcs relate to and expand our understanding of the Backrooms. On top of that, we do also get a little bit of subtle world building throughout the movie too. One of the things I picked up on when we get to Mary's backstory is that it's kind of hinted at that her mom was likely in the Backrooms at some point in time. One of the things that brought me to this conclusion is that in one of the flashbacks for Mary's backstory, we see her mother boarding up the doors with furniture, similar to how Async will board up certain areas of the backroom with furniture. They do this after Clark's first encounter with the still life, when he walks into that room with the camera after walking past the cardboard cutout, and the entity destroys it, and I'm pretty sure Async, watching the camera, likely saw the still life and went in there and covered up that room with all that furniture. And we see the room covered up with all the furniture once Mary goes into the back rooms later on in the movie. And I believe the reason why Mary's mom covers up their home with all this furniture is because she likely believes that she is still inside the back rooms. And I feel like Mary herself likely became aware of this near the end of the movie when she's having that conversation with Phil. I also think that it's kind of hinted at that standard, which is what they call the reality, is kind of connected to the Backrooms in a way that we haven't been made aware of yet. I'll have to rewatch the movie to really see what made me feel this way, but it was just the general visual atmosphere of standard. Whenever they go outside the Backrooms, it just feels off, and I don't know exactly what it is. And if you've watched the YouTube series, then you'll know that Mary's mom isn't the first character that escaped the Backrooms and feels as if they were still trapped inside of the Backrooms, so it's not that far-fetched of a theory, to be honest. But yeah, that's all for my review of the movie. Overall, I'll give it a 5 out of 5. Even with my small little critiques of the movie, they didn't really take away much. They didn't take me out of the movie. They were more so things I thought about after watching it. And I definitely can't wait to rewatch it, because there's definitely more to think about. I can't wait to see what Kane does in the future. You know, I can't wait to see what he puts out next. I know he says he's working on he wants to do a series for the Backrooms, a 9-episode mini series, and I think that would be really interesting. So yeah.